I was going to that press. I'm here with Elise Reed, who returns to action on March 19th at UFC London. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm happy to be talking with you. You're 24 days out. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Feeling absolutely great. Training is going well. Yeah, no, I can't complain. I'm ready to go. This has been a little too long out of the cage, so I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, I was going to ask you a little bit later, but I mean, I'll get right into it. It's been six months since your fight. Did you try and fight a little bit earlier?
I did. I was cleared to fight in September, and I was pretty much biting at the bit, and they gave it to me, this matchup, I think in February. No, not in February, maybe December. So I was happy to have a matchup, but I don't think I will ever have this much time off again. It's better to be in the cage than that. So
Right. Before we talk about your matchup with Corey, I wanted to ask you a little bit about your military background. So you went to a military college, is that correct?
yes, yeah, I did.
And was that by choice?
Yes, it was. Yes, it was. I paid to go there. So
I guess why'd you go there? I guess that's the easiest question.
yeah, so my grandfather was a career airman. He was a senior master sergeant in the Air Force for 28 years. And since I was a kid, I did Taekwondo for so long, and it's very regimented, and the discipline's there. And I ended up actually getting congressional nominations for the Air Force Academy in West Point. I just didn't get in. And the plan was to go to VMI for a year and then reapply for West Point. So I always knew I wanted to be in the military. And VMI looked like a very intense college to go to. And so I was drawn to it, and the rest is history. So yeah, I mean, I joke about it that it had bars on its windows and very regimented, and was somewhat close to prison. But yeah, no, I chose to go there. I got paid to go there. And I met amazing people, and I am very grateful for the experience. But yeah, it was a seed that was planted very early on for me to be in the military. So I went all in.
Gotcha. So I guess it wasn't like your normal frat party every night kind of college.
No, I the first year, actually, or not, the first 7 days. So I had no idea what I was getting into. Absolutely no idea. Um, I visited the college and nobody was there. So I like, the first thing I was asked, like within the first 7 days, one of the girls came up to me who was not a freshman. Or we were called rats at the time, very endearing term. So yeah, she comes up to me. Yeah, right. I couldn't even, so you can't say I, right, when you're a freshman, so you have to say this rat. So you're perpetuating the lovely terminology that they have. But she came up to me and she goes, hey, I know you. I was like, oh, hi. And she goes, you're coming to the sweat party. So I thought I was invited to a party. It's a huge killer workout. To put in perspective, the first sweat party that we had, I got a nosebleed from shouting so loud. So I was working out so much that I hemorrhaged in the nose, and I got a bloody nose, and they ended up having to put like a tampon in to stop it. And I kept working out. So I mean, I had no idea what was going on. And yeah, there's no frat parties. There was a sweat party, but that was a workout, and I didn't know about it. So it is what it is.
God
Mm-hmm.
damn.
Yeah. No
Oh,
idea. And straining was a thing. So straining is like where you roll your shoulder back, you pin your chin to your chest, and it's very, very uncomfortable. It pretty much makes it to where your whole body seizes up. I had no idea what that was either, but it's a whole night, and then you have to do it for the whole 6 months. You're a freshman, or a rat, shall I say? So no, I had very little knowledge of what I was getting into. I just knew that they wore uniforms every day, and that meant that I didn't have to think. I didn't have to think. So it's all good.
That is wild. That's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you ended up being a captain, right?
So the military school had cadet rank. I rose to the ranks there, but yes, right now in the military, I am a captain. So I hit a captain 2 years ago.
Oh man, that's awesome. That's awesome to hear. And then finally, about the whole military thing,
No
I
worries.
think I've seen you saying in previous interviews that the military kind of helped you with your fight mindset. Is that still correct to this day?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things, both during college, right, with that militaristic mentality, Spartan lifestyle type thing, where you're doing things that are completely uncomfortable that you don't want to do, right? I mean, our freshman year, we had a final field training exercise, and you're given a backpack and pretty much like a tarp, and you can have MREs, which if you look it up is not a fun thing to eat. Like the only nice thing is that you could heat it up, but they took the heaters out, so you can't even heat it up. It's pretty much like garbled in plastic, could last 20 years on the shelf, right? So you give those three things, right? Yeah, go those three things, and you have to hike, I think 20 something miles in 2-3 days. So you're laying on the floor, and it's the summer, but it still gets cold, and you have to make your own fire. It was miserable. So I mean, the military challenges you to be better the entire time, while also putting you in the most challenging and unfortunate circumstances. So specifically with the Army, I was deployed for about 9 months. It ended up being a year fully when you talk about training before and training after in terms of like demobilization. And I remember being in such a headspace where I was finally graduated college. I finally was at the school where I could do things that I, had wanted to do since I started. I really was able to like have time to set time to fighting. And then the Army was like, no, you're going to be gone for 9 months. Really, it ended up being a year, but you're going to be gone for 9 months. And you got to do 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I was, you have opportunities where you're like, okay, so I can either be miserable and hate every moment of it, or I can find something that's going to get me, prepare me for forward. And that's what ended up happening. Is I got back, and I think I had 3 fights within 4 months, and we kind of just hit the ground running. But no, the military provides experiences that just suck, that you never want to do, or you wouldn't naturally like go out and find it, right? And so you have to then challenge yourself and others to be better than that. So it's really easy to complain when things suck, and you have to do a job during that time. So yeah, I'd say the way you challenge yourself or see challenges is very similar, and I'm grateful for them as much as they sucked during the whole experience.
Yeah. Gotcha. Fast forward your UFC debut. Didn't go your way. I just wanted to know.
No, not quite. Not quite.
It's been 6 months, up a weight class. Was there any regret taking that fight?
So I lost once in my amateur career, and I remember being really hard on myself, really upset, frustrated. Just you can get in a place where it's not the best mentally. Like I wanted to give up pretty much when I lost during my amateur career. And this one, as much as it is probably a meme somewhere, and I know that I was tagged on Reddit a few times. I had no idea how it looked. It felt fine. It ended up nothing happened, and I had broken my face earlier in another fight and didn't even know it, and that's really what I found out going to the ER. But it's a weird thing. I mean, I think it's probably the craziest thing I've done martial arts wise. I mean, there's a reason why nobody else accepted that fight on 3 weeks notice. And I can tell you right now, to put in perspective, I am sitting heavier right now than I did stepping into the cage with Sajara. So I will never be a 125. I never was a 125. I wouldn't say I regret anything, because at this point now, there's very little that I should be afraid of in the cage, right? I mean, she said it after the fight. She was walking 141. It's 20 plus pounds on me in the cage against the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt ranked bantamweight. I mean, like, what else does anybody have? So my coach and I were talking about it after. He's like, listen, he's like, you got some brass balls. I mean, and in a fight, I think for fighters, the worst fear is being put in a position where you can't think straight, or you're, more emotional than you want to be. And I hit her from the bottom of mount because I knew time was running out, and the ref wasn't likely going to let me, like, the doctor wouldn't have let me go out to the second round. Let's be honest here, right? It looked ridiculous. I didn't even know how it looked, but I could feel the pressure, and I still could see, but I knew that we had maybe 30 seconds left. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go for broke here. And I think I clipped her once, which is why she got mad and, like, looked at me and talked to me. So no, I mean, I don't have regrets. I think a few fights down the road, everybody will be able to joke and say that was not necessarily the brightest decision, but no, I got out of that fight and I was like, there's nothing else anybody can throw at me. You know what I mean? Give me a worse position that you could be in. I don't know of any. So yeah, it is what it is. Just take it and move on.
And you got your foot inside the UFC, right? At 4-0, right? And that's can be kind of rare now, these days. So but you kind of did touch on it. And I find it fascinating how professional athletes deal with their first professional loss. And you already had suffered a loss in your amateur career, but it was your first professional loss, and you were on this, 4-0 just streak looking good. What were the emotions like after that?
I could have gone on the cage the next day. Okay. I was so I mean, like I said before, you look back on it, and it really was a glance. So my face, like, none of them that she hit me with stunned me. So I'm thinking back and, like, okay, so what could I have done and where I was at? And it was just a poor position. But I never stopped working. I never stopped grinding for a way to get out. I was never mentally defeated. And I think as a professional, I think that as much as physicality is a thing and technique and everything else, if we're being honest, everybody here in this position is going to be their strongest. They're going to be their most fit. Nobody's going in there, half-assing it, because, they're all UFC athletes, right? This is the epitome of being in the sport. So not to be mentally defeated was huge, and I could have gone in the next day. I mean, I was ready to go for sure, as quickly as I could. And so that's why you will never see a 6-month layoff again. It was not by choice. And I wasn't injured to the extent that I needed it. So no, I'm ready to rock.
Gotcha. Well, you're ready to rock, and you got it. UFC London, man. So for your second UFC fight, you're going into enemy territory. Are you excited about that?
Yeah. I mean, I think as much as I have had in a performance, my professional career, I've never been not the underdog. We used to have jokes that I was always the blue corner. You know what I mean? Like, even one of them, I think my Bellator fight, is like, should have been the favorite, and I still was a blue corner. I was like, I'm used to it. I do not care. I prefer ruining somebody's day, and I have an opportunity to do that better in a position where they think that they have the leg up. Like, I'm used to it. Jasmine, that fight was ridiculous, right? Like, what are we doing here? And I took it away. So no, it doesn't bother me. If anything, I'm very used to it, and I'm gonna be having plenty of fun in the pubs after that. So yeah, it'll be good.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't think you've been booed I mean, you weren't booed at CFFC, so I mean, is this going to be the first time you're probably going to get booed as you walk out?
Probably, yeah, yeah. I mean, they didn't have an audience. I'm sure people were booing on their screens.
I guess that's true.
That's the only reason why I was unbooed, because there was no audience. Had I been able to hear the commentary of the Jasmine fight, that's as close as a boo that I could have gotten.
Very
But
true.
all love to CM Punk and John Morgan. They're good people. They just didn't know what they didn't know. But yeah, no, I mean, it's all good. Doesn't bother me. I've always been the smallest. I've always been the person counted out. Whether people boo, don't boo, doesn't make a difference. The only person that's really gonna matter is me and Corey. So
Corey McKenna, did you know who she was before they offered her to you?
not really. I definitely had watched her fight with Hansen, whatever time that was, just because I watched those fight nights. So watching that fight again, I was like, oh yeah, I watched her before, but no, I mean, it's all good. I'm sure she didn't know who I was either. That's how it goes.
Well, what are your thoughts on the matchup?
I like it. I mean, I think anybody that saw the last fight and that has seen the last 3 or 4 of mine, like, you should be looking to take me down. So if you want to strike, we can strike, but I think everybody's game plan, and it's been like that for so long, is try to take her down. So that's just what it is. Like, I'm gonna try to hit her. That's, you know what I mean? It's not like there's much guesswork here. So so yeah, so we'll see. I think it'll be good. I get to fight somebody my own size, which will be fun. That's the most exciting part. And I have reach apparently on this one, so that's never happened before. I fought somebody with a 4 or 5 inch reach advantage. Never myself had that type of reach advantage. So it'll be exciting. Should be a good time for a striker to have reach advantage. Woo! That's their dream, right? Yeah, that's their dream.
So are you expecting Corey McKenna to come out and wrestle you?
Yeah, I think she's probably going to try to push forward because she has to, because I have reach. If she sits back a little bit, then she's kind of, you know, I mean, anybody that knows striking, right? You don't have the reach advantage, you got to push forward. So I'm expecting her to push forward, try to get me the cage, try to get a takedown. Just something crazy outside of that, then like I'm game. So I think obviously for me, I'm gonna work on defending and trying to keep it stand up as much as possible. But if it goes to the ground, I've got some solid ground and pound. So I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Everybody has a plan until they get hit in the face. So we'll see.
Great quote.
Yeah. I love Tyson.
Do you have a prediction for this fight?
I don't like to make predictions. I'm always looking for a finish. So that's my prediction. I'm looking for a finish. I'm also not somebody that's stuck on anything. So, like the Jasmine fight, I was expecting her to reel back and use her reach, and she pushed forward, and I was able to adjust on the fly as usual. So we'll see what she comes at me with, but in any situation, I'm always looking to get out early. You know what I mean? Make it an easy night. So we'll see.
Gotcha. 2 last things for you. What do you want the rest of your year to look like?
Ooh, I want fights. I want to be in and out. Like I've never had a problem with a weight cut. I'm never in a situation where I'm not in shape unless I'm injured and I can't be running or I can't be working out. But I've never been in a position where I'm out of shape. So out of this next fight, I've already spoken to my coach. We're going to be turning this over as quickly as possible. I'd like to get it at least 1 to 2 more by the end of the year. Definitely by the end of the year. Hoping by the fall. have two more in. So it'll be active. I got some Army training in the spring, and then shortly after the fight, I like to piggyback him as much as I can. I've done that before with the Rose one. I did the Rose fight and then went straight into 2 weeks of military training. So it's gonna be something similar like that, and then end of spring, summer, we'll see if we can jump in on a card, or do another short notice.
And then, are you treating this fight as your reintroduction, maybe your re UFC debut? Kind of just reintroducing yourself to the UFC fans.
Yeah, I mean, I think I probably won and lost some fans that last one walking in with Sajara, but I think this will be a fight where I can really showcase what I'm, why I'm in the UFC. It wasn't to be a 125 UFC fighter, that's for sure. Never did that in my life, and never again. So, yeah. So I'm excited. I really am excited. I've been working on strength conditioning, getting myself to where I'm a solid 115, because, as you know, I was a 105 fighter for a long time. So I'm excited to showcase the skills that I can bring to the 115 division for sure.
I lied. I have one more. Do you think the UFC is gonna bring a atomweight division soon?
I don't know. I mean, I think right now you're seeing a lot of 115 fighters going up to 125, probably because the weight cut was a little aggressive. I don't think you have too many 115s that are open to 105. But if the UFC wants to bring in a 105, I will destroy 105. I've always loved 105, but we'll see. I mean, the flyweight for the men's division is popping off. So maybe if they appreciate that type of speed and work in the men's division, they could see adding a 105 division. But I don't know. I think right now the females in 115 are willing to stay at 115 to be in the UFC, and those that aren't really 115s or 125s, and they're moving up and building that division. So I'm sure if the UFC has a need for it, they will. But I don't know. We'll see.
Gotcha. Thank you so much for your time, Elise. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You want to plug your sponsors, plug your social media, the floor is yours.
Yeah, so Kickside is the school. John Canabay is the coach. Follow me at Elise Reed MMA. Outside of that, we're just grinding to get this W. So